So as I said, we're here to talk about expense management, and let's just kind of jump right into it. So, as we know, businesses can't really run efficiently if they don't know where their money's being spent, right? But even with that, there's a lot of companies out there that don't maintain an efficient and effective policy and procedures as it relates to reporting on their expenses. And it's actually recently at the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners looked at American companies, and they found out that 5% of their annual revenue is due to fraud, and 15% of that 15% of that fraud is within expense management. So that really speaks to kind of the inefficient and ineffective processes that a lot of organizations have there as it relates to expense management, right? And a lot of expense management is a lot of the problems are resulting in the policies and procedures that go around it. And there's other areas that really present problems, and some of it is, areas where organizations can't really control, right? In terms of increased travel costs, paying too much for travel. Those things are difficult to manage because they're very macro. But the other things that, that organizations can control are the lack of data security, right? With so much PII included within expense management, such as employee names, et cetera, you can't really afford to have an unsecure system with disconnected processes as it relates to expense management. Fragmentation in systems, right? So often we're trying to corral and source a lot of data from a lot of different systems across the organization in order to input those for expense management. And this really leads to a lot of issues. Some of them are cost leakages. Some are poor visibility into who's spending, what on where and where they're going and why they're doing those certain things as it relates to the company. But it also provides a broken experience. I mean, a lot of organizations, and I've worked with them, was where you input your expenses in one application, but you get reimbursed from a different application. Or you input travel expenses in one application, but you input something else, as it relates to spending money for the organization and getting reimbursed in another application. So it can be a very fragmented process to be able to kind of go and input those expenses. And then lastly, manual reporting, right? According to a recent report, 43% of companies are still managing expense reporting manually. So that's crazy. Nearly 50% of all organizations are pushing out reports manually. And that's, of course, lead into human error, out-of-date data, and, you're under-reporting on business time and money, right? And it's a significant gap there within your organization. And so we can see here from a report from the Global Business Travel Association, right? On average, it takes 20 minutes and costs $58 to manually process a single expense report. So that's nearly $60 to manually process that single expense report. So imagine you're doing that at scale, and you're doing hundreds of to thousands of expense reports per day. You can really see how that's going to impact a business at a scale and across time as well. So how does Celigo help with this manual expense reporting, with this manual expense inputting, right? And what we're about is reducing your expense processing time by 24 hours with automation. And the Celigo integration platform allows you to automate and integrate your entire expense management process from end to end. So we talked a lot about, there's different applications out there, and there's different data sources out there that you need to pull from different systems in order to have a full picture of where expenses are coming from, why they're coming from there, what departments they're coming from. And Celigo allows you to pull all of that data into one platform and have that single view of visibility. And with Celigo, finance departments, they don't have to longer rely on manual processes or inputs, and they can easily track those expenses. They can obtain faster approvals for employee expense reports and reimburse associates on time, right? I can talk personally that if you're having to wait 3 months to get, a $3,000 expense that you've paid on behalf of the company back, that's a lot of money that you're out of pocket for a long period of time. And it's really infuriating to an employee to have to wait for that reimbursement. So having this automated and timely reimbursement really helps move things along, but it also helps your employees stay happy and engaged.